Last Pipe Productions presents the New Way podcast. The New Way contains adult content, including programs from the golden age of television. Shows that Ben and Nick don't appreciate like they should. Not like Matt. That guy has moxie. Gumption. He's not interested in the malarkey and tomfoolery of those other two chuckleheads. Apparently being born in the 80s means a TV show from the 70s is persona non grata. What a bunch of assholes. Listener discretion is advised.
WKRP in Cincinnati.
Because you know how fathers and sons can be on Thanksgiving, drinking beer, watching the game, hugging each other in a way that suggests, I forgive you for everything.
And for all these reasons, I've decided to scalp you and burn your village to the ground.
Ugh, turkey. Ugh, giving thanks. Ugh.
I'm thankful for cable television because you can say words like, go f*** yourself and kiss my ass.
Everybody wants to be naked and famous. Everybody wants to be just like me. I'm naked.
Will you help teach me about this? What is it? A new way?
Welcome, everyone, to the podcast you can't stand to miss. The podcast which likely I had to reach out specifically to one David Crespo and send him a message and say, hey, David, there's a new podcast. I know there's like 1,000 other ways you could figure out when a new podcast is airing, but I'm going to reach out to you. So, David, that was for you.
Name dropping and everything.
That's right.
Yeesh.
You've heard David on this podcast, and let's just say it was pretty terrible. But no.
We are officially desperate for listenership.
You heard David Crespo on this podcast, but you wish you hadn't.
That's right.
now,
that is right.
We are now lobbying for someone who has actually co-hosted the show before to listen to it.
Yeah, exactly. That I realize that's how sad we have gotten. But the good news is that we are today celebrating a momentous occasion in New Way history. This is our 50th episode.
I'm 50.
We are. I'm still kicking. I'm 50. 50 episodes deep, which I think...
I remember when we recorded episode number 1.
Well, for
Actually, you don't.
No, I was thinking you came on board on 32, I think, was the Guardians podcast.
You were a glimmer in your father's eye at that point.
Well, it feels like I've been here from the very start.
This it's very true. Well, we've so the last 18 listenable episodes are the ones that count most towards our run. So which we
You couldn't see the air quotes during listenable, everyone.
No, they're compared to the original ones. We had great content. Just the sound was a little nuts. So you listen. The old one, we wouldn't be able to do this.
Any more treats?
And if we've accomplished anything this year, it's that. We have accomplished our own drops.
The best drop of all time.
And it may be, I mean, I honestly kind of want to start a vote between that and, of course, the one I want to go viral.
It's Nerd Rope, motherfucker!
We should do a vote.
It is Nerd Rope,
this
motherfucker.
road and find out which is the best drop. What do our fans think is the better drop?
It's Ben's. It's a textbook drop because you can use it in many situations. There's only one situation you can use when it's Nerd Rope, motherfucker, and that's when it is Nerd Rope, motherfucker.
I could think of some other context, but like
it's a stretch, but I see where you're going.
Okay, then you're just getting gross now. That's
a bumpy gummy rope.
Yeah, that's enough. That is enough of that. Yeah, what I felt when David requested this to actually just notify him on a episode by episode basis, I was upset, but then I thought I wanted to remember some words that were important to me this Thanksgiving.
These savages are our guests.
All right, and that is the truth. That savage was our guest, and therefore I will continue to whore myself out to him and send him personal messages with
instead of just subscribing on iTunes and getting that
he doesn't use he no Apple.
So Matt just huddled in his room at night, 2 a.m. sending up personalized.
no Apple.
No, I haven't been. That's why he's like, you haven't put an episode out in like 3 months. I'm like, because you haven't Okay. If I don't send an episode, it didn't happen. It's the age-old rhyme of if a podcast is made and David didn't get his personalized text message, does it actually exist?
To join the New Way text service, call Matt at 561.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, hold on a second.
Now what they have to do for the next podcast is just set up a listserv on my text and just do the Luke Stevens and just be like, yo guys, new podcast. Everybody show up at 8 o'clock a.m. to listen to that podcast.
We need to enlist time bomb management. That is what is going to get the New Way.
Our
to the next
teenage
level.
listener level would probably go up.
That's true.
Well, we do need that in-demand demo out there of teenagers that want to listen to three old dudes, because we are three old dudes to a teenager, talk about movies a lot of them have probably not seen. Definitely the ones that Ben mentions. Even the one Ben mentions the most, Aliens, I don't think they necessarily would have seen. Like, that movie that ripped off Stranger Things, season 2.
As long as he's not hanging out at Alabama malls, I think that we'll just take it as it goes.
I was about to say, we get a personalized message being like, I don't know what this Aliens movie is. Like 14 minutes later, there's a knock on their door, and I'm showing up. I'm just like, I have the DVD or the Blu-ray. What the fuck do you want to watch?
You're dressed as Bill Pullman's character.
Yes.
Do you have anything more in the Prometheus range?
Yes.
Oh, this is the movie that was made from that Prometheus movie.
Oh.
Yeah. And Ben kills himself.
Something about that just really rustles my jimmies.
Ooh. It's graphic.
You can't just make up a saying, Ben.
Rustles my
jimmies.
Actually, rustles my jimmies is a pretty well-known term.
Speaking,
it's well known at the Pickle Barrel in Tennessee.
go on. Go on Google.
You'll rustle your
type
jimmies.
in "Russell My Jimmies" image, and you will find about
I
500.
don't think I want to do
you'll
that.
find about 500 GIF images of different
right.
things.
Also, go on
The
Google
last-
and Google image search "lemon party" and look at the first 50 images of that as well. I'm not googling.
Fool me once, Ben Wilson.
Jiggle my jimmies or whatever. What was it?
Russell My Jimmies.
Russle my jimmies.
No,
Everything is bubbly.
It's like a thing. I think it started as like a 4chan thing,
You
and then
put it on Sunday, right?
what?
This is the Jimmies.
Russell my jimmies.
Or is it the pickup truck?
Is it Russell or Ruffle?
Russell.
Like rustling, like
Like
the
it
wind.
rustles them, like
Russell Wilson.
It's basically
Seattle Seahawks quarterback.
it would. I think it's supposed to convey that it upsets you.
But what is your Jimmy?
But when you rustle something, that just just shaking your jimmies, your ball. I assume your balls are your jimmies, or you have two penises, your Johnsons,
or it's multiple people and then rustles
all
your jimmies.
of the people's jimmies are rustled, but it'd be wrestling your singular jimmy
or your sack. I think there's no.
Is that really? Are you making a joke, or is that really what it is?
No, it's really what it is.
Okay.
And so no, I'm telling you.
So ruffle my feathers wasn't good
it's-
enough.
I
They
think
had
it
to go
started
to
on-
rustle my jimmy.
It started on 4chan,
But
and I think it made it to Reddit, and now it's on all of these message boards and stuff like that, where people use message board culture, and it's Russell My Jimmies.
But if Jimmies are balls, what is the other
No,
part?
he's saying it's a penis, and he's saying multiple people penises. What is happening?
That was a cue to use the nerd rope
Peni.
drop. Matt, I was trying to signal you like I was landing a plane.
I don't understand your signals. I didn't know where you were going with
damn
it.
it.
So look, if you just start, and the first thing that happens, you put
50
Russell.
episodes, and you don't know when to use the fucking nerd rope drop.
Okay, here's
only had it
Google
for
search.
one episode.
Russell space M comes at Russell My Jimmies. Russell meaning Russell My Jimmies meaning Russell My Jimmies
Latin.
GIF.
Origin.
So
Okay.
just letting you know,
I believe you.
it's a thing.
I never
It's a thing.
didn't believe you.
He said desperately. Speaking of Jimmy rustling, did you hear about Terry Crews?
Yeah.
What?
Terry Crews just came out against a high-powered agent at William Morris, like a big wig at William Morris, that sexually assaulted him a year ago
At a function,
at
right,
a
right
Christmas
in front
party
of his
in front of his wife.
Wow.
Russell, that's where rustle your Jimmy. That is an appropriate use of that phrase for real. But he came out. He goes, "This is a powerful person in Hollywood, and fuck it. Like, just fuck it. I don't care. This could end my career. Fuck it."
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That is insane.
Well, my brother was saying to me last week, he thinks the Time person, when they do the Time Person of the Year, it's going to be #MeToo. He thinks that's the way that the magazine is going to go.
But that's
with
not
it.
a person. It should be Kaepernick. He should get GQ and Time.
He's already gotten one of the like
GQ. Citizen
Was
of
it
the
GQ?
Year.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, he's handsome, so I definitely see him on the cover of GQ.
I mean, I don't.
Citizen of the Year. I think he
I'm
earned it.
kind of. I mean, that's a debate for a different day. But I think that
No one has willingly endangered. It was a starting quarterback of the NFL, willingly endangered their career.
Well, he wasn't a starting quarterback either.
When he started kneeling, he was a starting quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers.
No.
In 2016, he started kneeling when he was the starting quarterback.
No, I'm sorry. I think you're incorrect.
Really?
I don't.
He was the
Matt?
Yeah.
Fact check.
Hand signals. I just signal to Nick. I don't
It
know
doesn't
sports
matter.
well.
I mean, it was. I'm not saying it was.
Should we call
So
Greg?
you're against Colin Kaepernick.
No,
and all
I'm
that he
not,
stands for.
I'm not against Colin Kaepernick at all.
So you're in favor.
No.
All right,
social
all of those in
injustice.
favor
Hey.
of ousting Ben from the podcast, say aye.
Well, it's a new dawn. 50
the ayes
episodes.
have it.
Just kidding.
If you can't understand what I mean about like, okay, they're more of a person than even that.
I'm
action.
just rustling your jimmies,
Yes, you
Benny.
are rustling my jimmies.
Take it
Speaking
easy.
of, actually, I thought this was. It's funny because I was about to talk about it with you, and I was like, I kind of want to save it for the podcast. But like, that's the type of thing. Like, wrestle my jimmies is something that I would never say if I wasn't part of some sort of online culture. That like, you're like a Redditor, right? I mean, like Nick, aren't you on Reddit?
I am.
Pretty big, yeah.
Yeah, so that you're big into Reddit or whatever. I used to be big on Rotten Tomatoes until it's essentially defunct now, even though it still exists. It's out there, but it's just so non-active now. Whereas like 7-8 years ago, it was like the thing to do. Like there were so many, just thousands of people who were just constantly commenting on there.
At least you're not on the Ain't It Cool message board anymore.
Oh no, I could never stand the people on it.
No, they were awful. I'd read it for half a second and be like, I can't.
Yeah.
do
Like
this
I
anymore.
couldn't do any cool. I couldn't do IMDb. I couldn't do any of that sort of stuff. Rotten Tomatoes.
IMDb, I was big on. That killed me when it went away. Like it was where it was the only place I could get good information about, especially TV. If I wanted to like dig into episodes and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Matt,
but-
if you ever need to talk to your friends, we're here for you. You don't
We
have to.
do, but I have to. Sometimes I want an instant gratification.
so
The
now
people in the aliens message board understood me.
well, but that actually that's how Rotten Tomatoes was. Like Rotten Tomatoes, we had some very intense, and I had some lasting friendships online friendships that have like I'm still Facebook friends with a couple of people on there.
Ben has two
From, like-
illegitimate Rotten Tomato children.
Right, yeah, from like
Ben-
8 years ago.
Ben talks to one guy in Arkansas about coffee and
Anyways.
cigarettes and thinks that they're best buddies.
Oh my god. Anyways, but now, so I'm on Rivals, and that's the only thing I'm on, and it's just insane because it's this bastion of like right wing bullshit. Like it's like there's so many terrible people on that board,
Sounds
but it's
wonderful.
yielded something very fun and something I'm very thankful for in my life, which is my main
beer share.
my main board beer group, which are the coolest guys, and they're all just like, we fucking hate this place. Like it doesn't matter what we think from like I can guarantee you half those guys are probably way right wing. That shit's never going to come up in conversation like ever with any of us because it's just like we're
wait.
good guys and everyone's super nice and they're like, nope, we're not talking about that. We hate all of those other people who are like everything's political. We're just going to be nice to each other and we're going to trade beer and be all about that. And it's such a nice like such a nice atmosphere. In such a like the most vitriolic place I've ever been on the internet, maybe aside from 4chan, because 4chan is pretty fucking bad.
Well, I think Rihanna said it best. You found beer in a hopeless place.
Work.
Well, there you go.
Wait, what did you say?
Work.
She did say that.
but-
Only Rihanna song.
But the
That's the only one you know?
I think so.
the reason
Umbrella? The first one? You
Oh,
know?
no, Umbrella. Yeah.
the reason why that came up is because
Bitch better have my money? Bitch better have my nerd rope!
No. You can't make it happen.
pay
It's
me
going to
what-
happen when it's.
pay me what
it's
you
meant.
want, man. Nerd rope.
I do love nerd rope.
Yes, we know,
I really do.
motherfucker.
On a genuine level. I didn't know they still made it. That's why I was so excited.
I was not a fan.
I still haven't found it in the store.
The whole reason I brought that up also is just because you were like, oh, have you ever seen Silent Night, Deadly Night 2? And the only reason I ever saw that movie is because back when Rotten Tomatoes was a thing, and back when Yahoo Live video chat was still a thing.
Whoa. I didn't know that was ever a thing.
Oh, 2006 to 2009. It just turned all into dicks. That's the problem.
yeah.
But
I
you
was
used
saying
to-
a bunch of cam girls.
It was like when all of the cams
No chat roulette, or-
You could have a chat room and you could see 16 faces in the chat room.
Ew.
and you
I don't
have,
like
you
that.
could you could have more people in the chat room who could talk and could type, but you could turn the audio on or off. Like you could turn your own audio on or off, or you could turn the other people's audio on and off if you wanted to listen to something. But we used to get all of us from Rotten
Like I
Tomatoes.
turn my audio off.
We used to get Rotten Tomatoes, all of these guys on there. So we were all, and then in a separate browser, pull up a movie, and we would watch a movie from beginning to end and comment and talk about
So
it.
you riff traxed it.
Well, we didn't talk, but we mostly typed.
We
mostly
anybody ever
typed.
whip their dick out on you?
No.
Did you ever whip your dick out on anybody
No.
else? All right.
Ben.
I was talking with my wife about this. I have literally never sent a dick pic to anybody. Ever.
Really? Not even
Never.
to like your male friend? You guys
I
do your
have
windmill in
never-
front of people.
People have taken a picture of your dick.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that's
true. Other people may have
That is
received
still
a
a
dick pic from me.
That is still a dick pic.
Okay.
By definition.
I have
No, that's not a dick pic.
I have
I
never
don't count that.
said-
I
I
don't
got
count
you on
it.
I got you on a technicality.
No, I don't count. I
motherfucker.
don't count that as a dick pic. It's just terribly embarrassing.
A pick dick.
I've never even
It's a
received.
picked dick.
I can't remember.
get my bigger dick.
I can't. I literally can't ever remember receiving a nude photo of anybody.
Really?
No, nobody.
Keyword can't remember.
So that's a letting you guys out there in the Last Pint New Way fan club know. Send Ben some nude pictures of yourself. He's asking for it clearly.
Not so subtly.
He would like his Jimmy's rustled with some nudie photos.
So I'm really talking to three people here. I'm talking to Greg Klein,
Yeah, Greg will
David
send-
Crespo, and my wife.
I guarantee. I guarantee Greg's already sent his dick to you. It's going to be, and he's probably sent it via snail mail. You're going to get it in the mail one day.
I wish we were doing this live because all of a sudden it'd just be like Greg Klein, pom 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 pom, like alert.
Bing.
It feels like it's more his style to send a picture of like Dick Van Dyke or like Richard Nixon. You know, like a
He'd
stream
probably
of
send his
famous
dick.
dicks.
I think he'd probably send a dick.
And then maybe a stream of famous dicks, and then just bury his real one in the middle of
He
it.
would send a picture of his dick. He would send a
Bury
picture
his
of his
dick.
dick with like an audio thing that's like, "I am not a crook."
Yeah, he would give his
I
dick
am
some
not a
personality. I love that we're just all like, how would Greg send a dick pic? Oh, well, he definitely has some personality in it. Yeah, definitely. Wow.
Anyways,
well,
off the rails.
that was definitely one of I always like our preamble to see where we're gonna wind up, and we wound up at Greg Klein's dick again. I mean, how many times has this happened to us?
Going off the rails on a crazy train of thought.
On a Greg Klein dick, or a dicked pic. I think that's a good Urban Dictionary. That's not when you take a dick pic of yourself, but a picked dick is when your dick has a picture taken of it by someone else.
Actually, a pick dick sounds like a
Your
sounds
dick
like
has been picked.
diseased.
It's a picked dick. I got a bad case of picked dick. Anyway, so this is a good segue
sounds like something
to
Tim Tebow would throw.
Thanksgiving.
Oh my god.
So this, as in addition to being our 50th episode, this is also our Thanksgiving themed episode. And we want to go a little bit different than we normally do, which I basically just said to the guys, let's all kind of go around the room. We'll do kind of a 5 things we're thankful for. They can be pop culture related or movie related or TV related, or they can just be whatever the fuck you're thankful for right now, for whatever it is. And we'll kind of see what everyone has got on their mind this Thanksgiving. Because everyone should be listening to this episode this Sunday before.
Right before Thanksgiving. And so I hope all of you have a happy and safe holiday and travel. Travel safely and see your loved ones and give them hugs and celebrate that sham of a holiday that we call Thanksgiving because it's based on some bullshit, but whatever.
Eat me!
That's right. That's what we should be thinking of this Thanksgiving.
And actually, but are you guys not interested in because here's kind of my whole thing about Thanksgiving. I really love Thanksgiving and most of I can say throughout my life, a lot of my favorite family memories have happened around Thanksgiving or on Thanksgiving. Some very strange and idiosyncratic groups of people get together on Thanksgiving, and truly 2 of the most magical, just really wonderful, the most thankful evenings I've ever had in my entire life also occurred on Thanksgiving.
Like when we watched Blade, when you showed me Blade for the first time
That
on
was
Thanksgiving
not
Day.
on. It was
It was on Thanksgiving Day. Your sync broke. Beth and I were talking about this.
This was not that day.
Okay, so it's not the day
Do you like
showed
the
me
movie
Blade for the first
I think
time.
Blade's pretty cool.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Since I've seen it. I can't.
Matt
make
wasn't feeling it.
I wasn't feeling it that Thanksgiving.
I'd like to pull my Jeff Sessions. I do not recall.
I was in a
Blade.
food coma, so maybe it was not the best time for me to be watching Blade 1.
I mean, but I do have to like.
Isn't Tracy Lords in Blade?
I don't know.
Grace Jones is in Blade as Blade, but I don't know about Tracy Lords.
No, it's Grace Jones as Wesley Snipes as Blade.
Oh no. I told Ben this. I legitimately
God damn it.
the first trailer I saw of Blade, before Wesley Snipes' name came up, I thought it was a Grace Jones movie.
That's worse than
I was
thinking Reginald Val
positive
Johnson is dead.
it was a Grace Jones. Blade, look at a picture of Blade and a picture of Grace Jones. It's uncanny. Continue, Ben.
Grace Blade.
Good band name.
Anyways, what I was gonna say is I can't. You can't always ignore all of the reason why the holiday exists is pretty shitty. I mean, the fact that it's the original reason for Thanksgiving was that we're supposed to commemorate this thing that basically never happened, or happened in a completely different circumstance of the way that's romanticized. But I love the
Ben doesn't like anyone named Chris Columbus.
Well, hold on, but you haven't seen? Have you seen the History Channel expose on Thanksgiving?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh, listen to this.
But was the first Thanksgiving really just about pilgrims and Indians from space? Or was there something more? Shocking new evidence suggests that the first Thanksgiving might also have been haunted.
There is certainly no evidence that the first Thanksgiving dinner was not haunted.
The pilgrims welcomed the Indians, but did they also unknowingly welcome spirits from beyond the grave?
Oh, come on!
So Ben's right. There is a long, sordid history of Thanksgiving
Right,
that really
there you
should
go.
look into out there. A lot of people don't know the real story.
It was really historically accurate.
Yeah, I know.
That was something else.
Continue.
Do you guys not care? I mean,
Was that the narrator of Squeak If You Can Hear Me, the Squeak Scolari story?
The one time,
I think so.
I do wish that we have separate tracks is when Ben is trying to tell a story and we're just like purposely derailing him, because it'd just be a series of.
I'm really not. I'm trying to just initiate a discussion because I'm not sure if that's something that you guys care about or not. Here's the reason why I think I used to care about it more is because when you're brought up, you learn about Thanksgiving and it's just like, oh, it's all about like acceptance and peace and these new travelers came to the New World and there were these Native Americans and they broke bread together and they had this meal and then you're just like, oh no, that's not the way it happened at all.
Well, there are a lot of fucked up things about religion, but there are people who can take the best parts of it and make their core beliefs about that.
Right, exactly.
And while Thanksgiving may have been really the raping and pillaging of indigenous people in America, we grew up thinking Thanksgiving is about coming together and breaking bread and using our differences as a rallying cry.
Well, do they still teach? Like, what do they do with your kids at school for Thanksgiving? Do they talk about it? Are they
You
taught
trace your hand on a.
But I mean, no. But are your
turkey,
kids
Matt.
told about like pilgrims and Indians? Is that like part of the discussion?
I feel like it's becoming less and less of a discussion just because there is so much
should be,
backlash now.
It should be less of it. It should be not a discussion.
No, and,
Right,
and that's the
exactly.
thing. And
No, when I was brought up, that was what it was all about. It was like,
Yeah.
oh yes, well they came over and
the
this is what
first
happened.
Thanksgiving, and they broke bread. Yeah, it was this peace treaty. It was a treaty.
It was just like, hey,
Was it-
hey, congratulations, have some bread. We brought you cholera.
But it's kind of like, I mean, I also grew up with like cowboys and Indians, right? As being like a thing. Like there were cowboys and Indians. Like I guess it's. I don't think it should be continued to be taught, but it didn't. Either you're smart enough to eventually figure out
Sure.
what the real truth is behind it, and you go, okay, look, Thanksgiving is just a time that we all get together and have a great day where we talk about what we're thankful for, which is great. That should be Thanksgiving. It shouldn't. Whether it should be on November 25th and or in the 3rd November in last November in November or last Thursday in November. I don't know. I don't know about
think
that side of it, but-
after a certain amount of time, after a certain amount of like elementary school years in the
Brainwashing.
belt,
It's actually the second last
Thanksgiving-
Thursday of November.
It's only because I thought it was
No, it's the second to last Thursday of every November. this year the only reason why it's so early, well, no, or something like that, right?
I think it's the last one, but because it can't fall on the last day of the month, so that's why we have another Thursday. But it's the last Thursday.
It's the last Thursday of the month. There you go.
Remember the last Thursday of November. It's when your ancestors killed the Indians and took their land. Have turkey.
That's the way that the rhyme goes.
That is 100%.
I can't believe I forgot that.
Nicholas.
So anyway, after a certain amount of years in the elementary school system, Thanksgiving stops being about that story they force feed you about how Americans sat at the same table and they became friends and everything was great. It stopped really becoming about. It wasn't about that anymore, and it really was about biting your tongue, sitting across the table from your conservative relative when they want to talk about politics.
This is there's this.
Reliving past pain and getting depressed is what Thanksgiving's all about.
Yeah, that's Nick subscribes to that theory. So
But you know what? I
had
love
a wonderful
Thanksgiving. I love the food.
But here's the trick to a happy Thanksgiving. I'm convinced. I'm going to break my rule this year.
You have to have the cranberry sauce that's gelatinous, and you have to also have the cranberry berries.
Hey, listen. I'm listening to Matt right now because he spends some Thanksgivings in Bandera.
Yes, yeah. Well, no, but here's what. But see, I'll tell you where my successful Thanksgivings are. Spending Thanksgiving with someone else's family so that all of their bullshit is new to you is wonderful. I spent Thanksgiving at Nick's in Baltimore last year, my first trip to Baltimore.
It was a good time.
I had an amazing time. I've spent countless Thanksgivings with Ben and Beth. Probably 3 or 4 at this point.
Which one was better?
The pizza.
Don't you quote Stella.
Boy, did I dodge that one 100%.
Did Ben and Beth have the Beer Olympics?
That is literally the best possible answer that you could have to that question.
I just want to have Thanksgiving.
Yeah, good luck.
But yeah, I think what you, that by the way was from the Buffy the Vampire Slayer Thanksgiving episode, which if I was looking it up for research for tonight's podcast. Spike has a monologue in that episode about the Indians and Pilgrims thing. That's
season 2, is that right?
Was Spike already there in season 2?
No, Spike was there in season 1.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, never seen an episode.
It's a terrible monologue in that it's very negative, but his whole thing is basically like, okay, you guys had more weapons, you did it. This is what societies do. They take over peoples. Caesar did this. He doesn't spend a holiday celebrating it every year, or whatever. Like it's this vampire going through the whole thing of it. But it's really interesting. But yeah, I think
Spike really is.
Thanksgiving
one of the
is very
best
stressful.
television characters of all time.
Wait, one at a time. Ben, you go first, then Matt.
No, I was just saying,
Ben?
Spike is actually one of the best written TV characters of all time.
All right, Matt. Now you go, Matt.
Nick, it's good.
We need to have a talking stick.
No. This
Matt
is
has
not
the floor.
This is Thanksgiving. There are no rules. We all just talk when we want to talk because it's fucking Thanksgiving.
And it's good radio.
And we're happy.
And in 30 minutes,
and
somebody's going to get mad,
here.
Throw something, and Dad is going to send you to your room.
We're happy because...
It's Thanksgiving, but I love you guys.
All right, and that's what we need to remember.
Just how much.
All right.
Your soundboard game is on
Oh, we
point.
got it going tonight.
I have to say.
Well, I want to hear some stories.
Well, actually, I was going to say, I had an idea.
Before we get thankful, let's talk about awful things that happened to the Indians.
No, not awful things. No, I'm done with all of that stuff.
Oh, you have good things that happened to the Indians.
I was going to say...
Awful Things by the Duffer Brothers.
We can talk about funny stories because I think they probably exist. I really don't have any funny stories, but what was your favorite, Nick, what was your favorite Thanksgiving that you can remember?
I hope my mother isn't listening because
obviously it was one that I was at last year.
It was a really good one. We had the Beer Olympics, and the whole fam was there, and it was the first time I had Thanksgiving with my family in 12 years. So it was great. But when I was living in LA, we had these Friendsgivings, and
yeah, we did that here too.
It was really something to say about Friendsgivings. And obviously, I love my family, I love being with them, but there's something very different about. You don't have to watch your alcohol intake. You can really tie one on. Everyone was a really good cook and only in charge of one dish. So they were all really good. Everyone's attention was just solely focused on that one dish, and it wasn't your mom or dad doing 3 or 4 courses. So the food was great. We would end up playing video games or going out and playing a touch football game afterwards. I miss my family, but those Friendsgivings were some of the best times I ever had in LA because we were all just hanging out as buddies, but with much better food and more booze.
I see. It's weird. I tend to remember like weird or bad things that happen on Thanksgiving that are funny to me. In retrospect, I don't know that I have like a favorite Thanksgiving. They all kind of blend together. Like I really did have an awesome time in Baltimore, just because I was at someplace completely different and with a completely different group of people, which I like. I kind of like those as like a dinner party anyway.
And that's actually, I mean, that applies to mine because like I went to Burlington, Vermont. Well, I flew into Burlington, Vermont, but my stepsister, Miriam, and her wife Beth live outside of Jericho, Vermont, which is like 45 minutes outside of Burlington or whatever. But it's into the mountains, no cell service whatsoever. Like once I got out there and whatever, so
if you're AT&T, you don't have service anywhere.
That's true.
So I was cut off, but like, so I'm with a lot of new people because I'm with like all of Beth, all of obviously Miriam's family's all my family, but whatever. But I'm with her wife's family who I've never met before, and we're eating Thanksgiving in this log cabin in twilight, and literally like as people are walking around or like talking about like what they're thankful for, like everything's candlelit. The first snow begins to fall.
Oh wow!
Like outside, so it's literally snowing outside, and the next morning there's like a foot of snow on the ground. I mean, like it was just like this insane thing where it's just like everything's like all the lights are off, like candlelit. Everyone's just having this really good time. I'm meeting all these new people for the first time. I was just like, it looked like it was out of a fucking movie.
Nice.
And I was just like, this is crazy. And like super, like I didn't know a lot of these people very well, but it was one of those things where it's just like, it's so serendipitous where it feels really magical. You're like, it's just so magical in that moment. So magical, in fact, that I was like, I even drove like out to the road to try and find a cell signal so I could call my girlfriend at the time and tell her how magical it fucking was. But
Ben on the side of the road in tears. Life is so beautiful.
It's so gorgeous out here.
Have you guys ever been
that's not that far off.
Have you guys? It's very sensitive. Have you guys ever been to a Thanksgiving celebration where there's actually been a physical cornucopia? I've never seen one before. Like that was one of the things you draw in elementary school and you learn about.
Like a corn centerpiece.
that all the grapes and food is overflowing out of.
A physical cornucopia sounded like some sort of orgy to me. I was just like, no.
Well, okay, I've seen both, but on separate things.
It looks like
my mom
looks like the snack, the Bugles. You know Bugles?
No, I know.
Yeah.
Do I know Bugles? Do I weigh 260 pounds?
I thought you said smacked the Bugles. It's like that guy.
That's a Peter Gabriel song.
He's a great musician. He really smacks the bugles.
But the cornucopia, you like that's
it's like the horn of.
It's like the three things you learn about in elementary school. Thanksgiving is turkeys, pilgrims, and that cornucopia thing that I've never seen in real life.
I don't know that that was a big part of my upbringing.
No,
like I don't remember like doing it in school.
This only happens in Maryland.
I don't even really know what it's.
Yeah, and of course the
weaving
and the Thanksgiving crab, where everyone gives their crabs for Thanksgiving. It's a tradition.
Christopher Columbus presented the Native Americans with a blue crab cake with minimal breading. It's just supposed to be the crab jumbo lump. No tartar sauce. It's an insult. If the meat is good, the crab cake is good. That's all I need.
Do you know what they do for dessert?
Little Old Bay pumpkin.
That's right. That's what they do for dessert.
It's nerd.
Sorry, I was trying to press it, but I realized I was pressing the wrong thing. I'm like, it's not happening.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off before that.
No, not
I was
at
just
all.
interested in all that stuff. I think because you were probably about to ask about bad stories or like some sort of awkward thing, right?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I always think the awkward stories are always funny to me because
Matt
everyone
lost
has
his virginity on Thanksgiving, so it's kind of a touchy subject for him.
No, I don't think I did.
No?
No, it wasn't Thanksgiving. Wait a minute, did I? I don't think I did. To a turkey, I did. I lost my turkey virginity to it.
Your virginity.
And I sang Ben's favorite Thanksgiving song while we were doing it.
A whole new meaning to the stuffing.
You know your favorite Thanksgiving song, right?
What's my favorite thing?
Turkey lurkey do and turkey lurkey dap. I eat that turkey, then I take a nap.
Oh, Ben, you're such a softie for that, Adam Sandler.
I do like that song.
So cute.
Isn't Thanksgiving night the busiest night at bars?
It's the night before.
The night before.
The night before is
Yes.
bigger. Now, Thanksgiving night at a bar, not great.
Night before.
No. On Thanksgiving night, bad bar night.
Night
I know
before,
this.
lit as fuck.
There is more alcohol consumed the day before Thanksgiving at bars than
Because
any other
everyone's
day
got to
of the
go
year.
spend the next 24 hours with their family. So when you try to find a bar on Thanksgiving, as my brother and I did one year when we were up in Jupiter, we went to Foster's 2 in West Palm Beach. Foster. So there's Foster's and Foster's TOO. The dirtiest dirt bar, like, makes old school Benny's and Ugly Mug look like Shangri-La. Just
Jesus Christ.
just fucking. You walk in and you get, I got something. I already have a disease. Just
Skin
walking in.
crawling.
And my brother and I went in there at about 3:30 in the morning on this Thanksgiving evening, and this I guess you could call her a woman, is walking, like, pacing back and forth behind us, right? These two bar stool, they had like this like half wall thing in the middle, and she's like pacing behind us. We're just like, you don't make eye contact at 3:30 in the morning at Foster's. It's like bad thing. So no, we're just gonna keep talking. We're gonna talk, whatever. She keeps talking, and then she this was her move. She took off her wedding ring, and she dropped it on the floor. And in her raspy, because you can smoke inside there, voice, it was, "Oh, I dropped my wedding ring. Can either of you strapping young lads, pick it up?" And we're like, and I literally took my foot and I just knocked it over. I was like, "Oh, it's over there. You're right next to it." And I was like, "Oh my God, this was her." Like, not only was this her move, she was confident. This move had worked before in this bar. She did that. This was not her first time at the rodeo. So that was Thanksgiving at Foster's.
Let's face it, at 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning in a bar like that, I'm not surprised that move worked in the past.
It was the most awful thing I think I ever witnessed.
Did you pick up that poor woman's wedding ring?
I did not. I let her pick it. It's like dropping the soap in prison. You don't bend over to get it.
What if she honestly is having a really bad night, really bad Thanksgiving, went to the bar to drown her sorrows, she dropped her wedding ring, couldn't pick it up, and you just said, "Fuck you."
No, you missed the part where she looked at us taking off her ring and quote unquote dropped it on the floor.
Revisionist history.
No, it was
You're a monster.
It was a play. It was a play for us. So
You narcissist.
You're like, I've seen better acting in the community theater in Delray fucking Beach.
I've seen better acting from tough acting to acting. That's right.
I've seen better acting than WWE.
There we go.
Poor Matt. Everyone wants to
Owned
fuck
by
him.
Billy Corrigan? Owns the WWE now, or one of them?
He's a partner.
Yeah, he's like owns one of the wrestling.
Do you know that?
I'm sorry, William Corrigan.
It's William Patrick Corrigan.
William Patrick Corrigan owns like a huge chunk of wrestling.
Nick just looks completely aghast right now.
These are not.
By
of
the
all
way,
the things I could make up off the top of my head, that would not be.
Listen,
it.
what he chooses is his choice, and he chooses to own some of the wrestling federation.
Listen, actually, you know what? I have to say,
What I choose is my choice.
Wait, no, we got it.
We got the joke. His new album.
Very, very
Get that drop.
His new album's actually really good.
It's Nerd Rope, motherfuckers.
No, I actually mean it. His new album's actually really interesting and good.
All right. I believe it.
Excellent. Well, that's one of the things that Ben is thankful for is Billy
I'm thankful
Corrigan's new album.
for William Patrick Corrigan. God damn it!
This is true. He has changed his name. It's true. Like Puff Daddy, he's changed his name. Although Puff Daddy is doing it for the 7th time.
It's a real topical
But
reference.
I was listening to an interview with him because he said he
Topical. He just changed his name this week.
What was it? Really?
He's now Brother Love.
Brother Love.
Puff
Like
Daddy,
the Neil Diamond song?
Yeah, Puff Daddy is now Brother Love. He's no
Traveling
longer-
Salvation
and
Show?
he has said he will not answer to Diddy, Sean, Puffy, Combs, Puff Daddy, none of his former monikers. He is Brother Love.
grab the old babies and all the old ladies because everyone knows.
It was the longest pause of silence we've had in the show.
I can't believe
Hey,
it.
wait. Pause one more time. Treats? Any more treats?
There's plenty more.
Blew your mind, huh?
Stay tuned.
I'm thankful for when he was known just as Puff Daddy. I was good with that one. Puff Daddy was fine by me.
Well,
I didn't like the Diddy.
Apparently,
I didn't
he
like
wasn't
P. Diddy.
okay with Puff Daddy,
No.
so...
Diddy.
Well, Ben, this Thanksgiving, what's something you're thankful for?
Well, I'm... Treats? No, I'm thankful for a lot of things, actually. Well, here's one thing. Well, if I had a joke...
I got nothing.
I'm thankful that my FedEx representative still thinks I own a hot sauce business.
Oh, God.
He calls me 3 or 4 times a year. He's just like, "How's your hot sauce business going, bro?"
It's great. I can't. I told you I can't go back to that UPS store because of that. Because they want me to bring my hot sauce in.
I know. And the thing is, you got too deep into the lie.
I know. You can't get out of the lie once you do the first one. You're like, then you're an asshole if you break in the middle.
You need to learn how to lie.
Ben sends beer
in
across
reality,
the country.
You're a bootlegger.
Yeah, so Ben sends booze across the country, and to disguise it, you tell them you're shipping hot sauce because it's the same kind of fragility of them, and it makes the same clinking sound inside of there.
Right.
So Ben told me to do this when I went to do this on UPS, and there's these 2 guys. The one dude who's like Filipino, and I was like, oh, because he's like, I love hot sauce. I'm like, you do? He's like, I'm Filipino. And I was like, oh man, we are getting to know way too much about one another right now.
We're in too deep.
I'll tell you when we're in too deep.
You need the panic button.
Yeah, it's rough.
I
love it. That's happening to you too.
You want me to go to the geek side of things? Here's something that I'll actually, you guys probably wouldn't have said, but you know what I'm thankful for from a geek perspective, and this is from an overall thing. I'm really thankful for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm like Kevin Smith right now, right? Because here's the
Not
thing.
that big of a fan.
No, but here's
Take it or leave it.
Here's the reason why is because like all of us grew up like watching movies and like loving movies and like really getting into certain things or whatever, and I just never couldn't have imagined myself at 13. Like imagine if you were 13 like right when the first Iron Man came out.
Yeah.
What's happened with that is just so, and it's almost like now because we have a malaise that's kind of like glossed over everything of like the fact that we have 2 or 3 Marvel movies a year and they're all fucking the same. Oh, they
Speak
have
for yourself.
terrible antagonists or whatever. And meanwhile, we're like,
that was Ben Wilson like 3 days ago, by the way.
no, but
you're talking to the guy who wants to make the Grandmaster Collector movie.
And the guy who wanted to make, who was thinking about originally before, but well before Thor Ragnarok or anything like that, who wanted to make a Loki anti-hero movie. So, anyways, I am very, very thankful for the fact that something like that exists, that could literally bring these like millions of fanboy fantasies to life in a way that I could never have even imagined. It already happened for me earlier in my life when the Lord of the Rings movies came out. Because I was a Tolkien freak. I loved Lord of the Rings, and those movies fucking delivered, and they were fantastic. And I thought I would never see anything like that again. And even though I'm not as invested in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as I was in like I didn't have like a poster of Legolas above my bed that I jerked off to every night.
You didn't, or you did?
I did. Okay. I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry.
I did. I'm not like that with the Marvel movies.
I'm sorry. I was just debating using the stupidest drop to make a joke, but I'll refrain.
But I think it's really, I don't want people to take it for granted because it becomes such a known commodity because it's so rare. It's never happened before, and it really is rare and like a creative medium for something to latch on that tight without to gain popularity, even with the malaise that's out there. I really like it. And so that's one thing I'm thankful for from a pop culture standpoint.
Well, I mean, I disagree with you because number one on my list, literally number one on my list, was that the 3 best comedies released this year were Marvel Cinematic Universe films.
Well, don't forget Get Out.
which is a satire, and I don't want to call it a
It is a comedy. It has been classified as a comedy for award season.
Yeah, okay, well that's fine. For award, whatever it is for awards.
Fine?
I don't know.
Jordan Peele tweeted today, Get Out as a documentary.
Look, they're gonna put it where they think it can win. That's
fine.
I guess so, but
no,
gotta be.
Look, this year's been a fucking crazy, shitty year for a lot of reasons. A lot of good things have happened as well, but the fact that literally what I can think of at the top of my head, the 3 funniest movies released this year were all Marvel movies. And they weren't just funny, they were all feel-good movies for the most part. They had decent messages in them that you can kind of get behind. And it was refreshing to not have something so cynical out there, because there was no cynicism in those movies, which I miss that from our childhoods a little bit. I think that's part of where that nostalgia kick comes in, is that we were harder edged, I think, the films when we were younger, but I don't think there was not that cynicism of bleakness on them. They're all very hopeful movies for the most part as a kid. I mean, at least the way I remember them. But anyway.
No, I think they are. I mean,
but yeah, that was number 1 on my list, was the 3 best comedies this year were Marvel. Nick, how about you? What you got?
I'm thankful for low dosage steroids and muscle relaxers. I am on a Heath Ledger-esque cocktail right now.
Hold on now.
I hurt my back, and I've never had to really use them before.
So what does a steroid feel? What does a steroid do to you?
Chillaxing in college. I was actually going to make a chillaxing joke earlier.
No, I was not chillaxing.
but what was the muscle relaxant for in college? I couldn't remember.
When I was on the way to the show and I totaled my Jeep. Because the transvestite was speeding the wrong way to the one-way street on Virginia Street in Tallahassee and hit me head on.
Which you can listen to on one of our podcasts. We told that story on one of the podcasts.
Which one's parallel to Tallahassee, which is in Virginia. And
I think we told that on the Gadwall Lane one.
I sure did.
Yeah.
So I did get that for like some whiplash, but I hurt my back. I don't even know how I did it, and I had to go to the ER. And really, I survived the weekend because I got these.
Do steroids make you feel strong?
He's just a little. He's a little embarrassed.
When I get me steroids.
No, I don't know. What is a steroid? What is the feeling of a steroid?
Well, I can't. There's no ascertainable, effect of the steroid. They're these tiny little pills that you take, and it looks like birth control. The first time we had it, you were supposed to have all 6 in a day, no matter when you got the prescription, and then you wean yourself to 5, to 4, to 3, to 2, to 1, and it just is an overall, pain management. So, yeah, and then the muscle relaxer just keeps things loose, because the problem is the muscles are stiff and creating the pain.
Well, I can say from experience being in this room that his balls have shrunk and he is now 3% body fat.
Well, I'm just trying to learn, because all I knew about steroids was from that Ben Affleck
and now I can play Major League
movie.
Baseball.
And it was, so you didn't have to get like a syringe in a back alley and deal with that kind of stuff.
It wasn't in the back alley.
Okay. Good.
No. But if we're gonna go pop culture,
you go wherever you want, my friend.
I know I'm gonna go. I knew Marvel Universe was gonna come up because, come on,
look around us.
When the first Raimi Spider-Man came out, I had been waiting so long for that, because all we had was Batman, and then X-Men,
and Superman,
right?
We had Superman.
Well, Superman, but
he had a lot of Superman, man.
Sure,
Superman was the biggest one.
Yeah, but that wasn't my
arguably the best one. But
but
Superman was also in TV shows, and Superman was everywhere. Superman was prevalent.
Lois and Clark, Terry Hatcher show doesn't count.
No, Superboy with Gerard Christopher.
Okay. All I'm saying is Spider-Man was a really big leap forward, because the first time we had the special effects and the costume looked right. And now, if I would have told my 10-year-old self that this type of Marvel slate was going to be what was going to be the biggest thing when I was 34 years old, I would be doing backflips. But what I really
not with your back right now is not. You shouldn't be doing that while you're on steroids.
I'm going to pop a muscle relaxer first. But I love that networks and HBO and Netflix now, these long running TV series have a chance to tell stories that these overarching epic stories and stretch it over a season or a couple seasons, you're able to tell stories like Game of Thrones that would be impossible to do in a movie, and even if you did a couple like Lord of the Rings, and now they're doing Lord of the Rings, right? And maybe that'll be good, maybe it'll be bad, but I love that now there is a new venue for storytelling, and what I think ultimately it's going to drive filmmakers to make better movies, because they know they're competing against streaming services and networks that have more of an opportunity to flesh out characters and drown out a story. I mean, Why the Last Man is my favorite comic book graphic novel ever, and maybe
FX,
in
right?
any medium, right? And it got picked up at FX, which I really trust the network, and it was at one point rumored to be one movie with Shia LaBeouf, and now it's going to be a series with the time and the care to really tell what is my favorite story in pop culture ever. And like I said, maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll be bad, but now that these series are such big money makers, it's driving a lot of really innovative shows that give a lot more freedom to tell a story and flesh out characters.
Hey, bro, Lock and Key too.
Yeah, Lock and Key.
And Dark Tower. Oh, I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Ben. Sorry.
Well, Benny, I bet you've read this, but is it His Dark Materials? Is that the name of the series? They made the Golden Compass.
The Dark Materials.
The Dark Materials.
I thought it was His Dark Materials.
I haven't read it, but
I think I've heard that before.
I know the Golden Compass was kind of based off of it, and now he said, I heard this thing on NPR, and the author is writing another book to continue the series, and it's widely beloved and considered a masterpiece, and the Golden Compass kind of flopped, but he was very protective of his work and just let it, sign a license to have a television series made because of Game of Thrones. He said, if it wasn't Game of Thrones, I never would have signed the dotted line. But I know now that stories can be told in that way.
Well, it's also for better or for worse, and I think sometimes it is definitely for worse, but for better or worse, they're also just redoing properties like 2 years later, a year later, 3 years later.
I think it's mostly for worse.
I don't love that necessarily, but I like it for something like that, right? So Golden Compass came out 10 years ago, so I guess that's long enough.
2003 or something like that.
It was even longer than that. Yeah, I thought it was in the 06 or 07.
Yeah,
somebody tried to get me to read it. But yeah, I like that something can be they have a second chance at it, especially if it wasn't given really a lot of love or didn't do a very good job of it the first time around. I think remaking Lord of the Rings right now, even though I guess it sounds like they're doing prequels. When I first read the article, I'm like, why the fuck would you redo those movies?
Like Sean Astin says, I hope it doesn't stop.
That's a Stranger Things season 2 reference. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert for one line. If Why the Last Man is a true adaptation and it works and it's acted well and it's written well and it's done right, it absolutely has a chance to make waves like Breaking Bad, like Sopranos, to get that wide popular acclaim. I really believe that.
Sure.
I really believe that. I believe it could be Walking Dead.
Do they
levels
answer
of popularity,
the question?
not quality.
Do they answer the question, why The Last Man?
Well, I'll tell you.
Okay.
In another podcast.
No, right. Here we go.
In our Brian K. Vaughan themed podcast.
So, Ben, any more things to be thankful for?
Sure. Before we have to end
Nerd
the
rope,
podcast or
motherfucker.
whatever, but no, I mean honestly, there's
We don't have. First of all, Mr. Time, but we've got plenty of time.
no.
to keep talking about thankful things.
I know that, but I mean, like
Thankful
obviously,
Things by the Duffer Brothers.
it's super cliched to be like, because obviously, like I'm thankful for like my life and my
blah, blah,
my
blah.
daughters
I don't care
and stuff
about
like
that
that.
stuff.
Fuck
Yeah.
you.
Yes, of course. It's all the stuff that's gonna pass around.
so beautiful.
It's all gonna pass around the table here in the next week and a half, I'm sure. But to be completely candid and honest, and I'm not saying this because she probably won't listen anyways. But
Cue the David S. Pumpkins theme.
no, exactly. Cue David S. You can actually literally play David S. Pumpkins over this.
Sounds like a challenge, Matt.
Actually, don't do that. No, let's not do that.
Take off your headphones, Ben.
But I really am. Listen, I would be in a completely different situation, and probably a bad one if it wasn't for my wife. And I am thankful every fucking day And the thing is just like any of my friends who are married to wonderful women who are great
Or
matches
men.
for them, or men, or whatever your preference may be, that they you always have those things where it's just like, yes, your significant other can be crazy, can be irrational, can be whatever, and I am a super challenging person, I know, all the time, and my wife tolerates me, and I am beyond, like fucking beyond lucky that I ever met Beth and that she's in my life. I mean, I mean that so sincerely. Like, it's fucking incredible that I even have a partner as fucking awesome as she is. And I'm just, every day I fucking just thank whatever fucking magic in the universe, whether it's a fucking higher power or whether it's something else that brought
a lower power
us together or just allowed her to accept me. And
Wow.
so, yes, that I am thankful for my wife. And I'll bring it back to actually what my every single Thanksgiving I spent with my stepfather, my late stepfather. Every single Thanksgiving, when you would have to go around the circle and you would have to say what you're thankful for, my stepfather always just said, "I'm thankful for Susan." That's all he ever said.
It's pretty
And
awesome.
That's where I am, and that's what I will be with my family moving forward. When it comes to me, I'm thankful for Beth. That's it.
Well, Ben
Beautiful.
Ben took my next answer.
You're thankful for Beth?
Yeah.
Well,
Actually, we should probably get John Reinsvold on the phone because I think that he would probably also say.
He's thankful for, he misses Beth too. But
Yeah.
well, look, if you ever worry that Ben and Beth aren't meant to be together, especially at Thanksgiving, we do have a little peek behind the scenes of a song they sing to one another each year. So let's listen to that.
It ain't so quirky to eat a lot of turkey on a Thanksgiving day. Yay.
My belly's wanting something to pry me down the pumpkin in every gobble gobble way.
I only had to do that because I know that you and Beth were as big a fans of Justin Long's brief tenure on New Girl as the most awkward, the male version of Jess, which
The manic pixie dream
the
guy.
manic pixie dream.
That's perfect.
Also a good band name.
Well, so that clip ties into me. One of the things I love about Thanksgiving is I love themed episodes of television. It's maybe my favorite thing, whether it's a Christmas themed episode or a Thanksgiving themed episode or a Halloween themed episode.
With you on that.
Fuck you. This is my Thanksgiving, and I'm thankful for these things. And I had to pare it down to one.
Network forced on these writers.
And there's a I don't give a shit. First of all, everyone celebrates Thanksgiving, so let them do a fucking Thanksgiving episode. It happens in everyone's lives, so why not?
Oh, hey, this year's This Is Us is a two-parter. It was last week and this week.
Well, I don't watch that show, so that doesn't apply to me. I'm talking about good shows.
This is
that
him.
Are fun.
All right,
this
Ben.
is me.
This is Matt.
So I wanted, as part of what I'm thankful for, I consider the greatest Thanksgiving episode of any piece of television. And I'll go so far as to say it may be in my top 10 best episodes of produced television. From a show most people, no one in our audience has ever fucking watched in their entire life because it's old and it's set in Cincinnati. But WKRP in Cincinnati did a Thanksgiving episode that is somewhat famous for old fans of TV or TV fans of old TV. Where the station decides they're going to do this big surprise thing on Thanksgiving. And they send out their reporter, Les Nessman, to report. And I'm going to play his report here for you. This is 1 minute long, not too long.
What a sight, ladies and gentlemen, what a sight. The copter seems to be circling
It's a
the parking
helicopter.
area now. I guess it's looking for a place to land. No, something just came out of the back of the helicopter. It's a dark object. Perhaps a skydiver plummeting to the earth from only 2,000 feet into the air. Second to the third. There's no parachutes yet. Those can't be skydivers. I can't tell just yet what they are, but... Oh, my God, they're talking! Oh, Johnny, can you get this? Oh, they're crashing to the earth right in front of our eyes! One just went through the windshield of a parked car! Johnny, this is terrible. The cars running around, pushing each other. Oh, my goodness! Oh, the humanity!
and it's followed by the end of the episode that the station director.
What is this show called again?
WKRP in Cincinnati.
When did this air? 1940. How old are you, by the way?
78, 77. Like
That's how old you are?
I was born in 79. The show was still on when I was a kid, when I was little.
Look great for your age.
But look,
was it in color?
Yes, it wasn't. Fuck you, all right? It was a bad recording. But so the station director decides he can do this promotion where he's going to throw turkeys out of a helicopter for people on Thanksgiving, not realizing that what most people know is turkeys don't know how to fly. And all that happens is he bombs a parking lot of a shopping mall with turkeys, and then the turkeys start revolting against the ones that make it down safely, revolt against people. But he has this famous line at the end of the episode, which is this.
As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
It's old school television. Maybe the kids out there don't like it so much, but I guarantee, go track down the episode and watch it. It's fucking funny as hell to watch some reporting.
Do you just rent a reel-to-reel machine from the public library, or how do you check out that episode?
What are you thankful for, Nick? Make sure not to talk over Nick and his...
Oh, that one bombed, man.
All right, continue.
Actually, we were just waiting for you to talk.
Yeah, there was no joke. I was just trying to wait for you to speak.
I'm thankful for our sparkling chemistry. It's nerd rope, motherfucker!
That's right.
I love that I can make fun of you and you don't turn on me during a podcast.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Ben, what about... what do you have, Gago?
Seriously,
do you have something you would like to talk about?
I have to say, I'm thankful for the soundboard, especially today. Matt has said before, it's a lot of work running the podcast and using the running the soundboard at the same time. And you've done a really good job.
You never know where they're going to come in.
I just wanted to say something really nice about
that.
You.
Was very nice, and I appreciate it.
In all seriousness, it's been on point all episode.
I'm thankful for that hat you're wearing. I like it.
Can I say I'm thankful that we actually started back up this podcast after 4 years?
As a thanks to Nick Santa Croce for getting us off our asses and doing it.
Thankful for 50 episodes.
And so I'm really thankful. I mean, ultimately, I'm thankful for my friends, for the guys who make it happen, because it's not me, it's you guys. Any more treats?
Yeah, you make it happen.
No.
We don't have that sound bite.
I make well, hey, listen. We can do our best to try and recreate some magic like that, but I'm not sure it's going to happen.
Oh, we don't have to recreate anything. It just happens when it happens.
But because I'm not spending Thanksgiving with either of you guys, let me tell you, I love you. I love you, Nick. I love you, Matt. You guys are very wonderful people.
I love you guys, too.
I love spending the holidays with you guys. And
yeah, I'm a little bummed I'm not going to be here. Well, I mean, you weren't going to be here, and you weren't going to be here.
No, we're going to be in
I'm
Tennessee. You've already gotten your trip to Tennessee this year.
Yeah, I know. That's true.
You're going to Chatty, Ben. You're going to Bandera.
That's correct.
And I'm going back to
Baltimore.
No, so we're all going home.
But we're all going to call one another on Thanksgiving Day and say, thanks. And then the other one's going to go, no, thank you.
Yeah. We should all watch Avalon. Speaking of Baltimore Thanksgiving.
What?
You ever seen that before?
Yeah, with Elijah Wood.
Yeah.
With Danny Aiello?
I think so.
Avalon?
Barry Levinson's Avalon.
It's the Barry Levinson Baltimore Thanksgiving movie.
It's Baltimore. What?
Isn't it a movie theater? It takes place on Avalon. On Avalon. It takes place on Avalon.
Isn't that a series of James Cameron movies where they're in Pandora? The Avalon movies?
Yes. Elijah Wood is blue and has a thing that bonds him.
Yes, and next month I'm taking my kids up to Animal Kingdom at Disney to go to the Avalon.
Barry Levinson's Avalon Land.
Disney spent a fortune on it. It's a terrible idea.
It's obviously at Epcot.
What's amazing is they actually got Danny Aiello to work the ride. Like, he actually is like, hey, come on Avalon. I got nothing else going on. I'm here Mondays through Fridays. Get the weekends off. Wow.
It's just a part of the theme park that looks like Baltimore.
Gee. I'm thankful Nick is from Baltimore because no other way would Avalon.
You've got the Avalon section.
Homicide life on the streets.
I want to go to the Wire Land. That would be amazing. Just a lot of guys dressed up as Omar. Like,
and they
what do you do? Oh, I studied at the Royal London Academy, but now I'm playing Omar.
No, they only say fuck for the entire scene.
Wow.
And then you've got John Waters Land.
Ooh, well, that would be like Fantasyland. This is I like this. You got
everyone's
Fantasyland.
in drag and eating their own shit.
That would be like one of the every 2 hours. Someone shits on the lawn at 2 p.m., 4 p.m., 6 p.m.
That fulfills my thankfulness. I'm thankful that we just put this idea out there and somebody's going to capitalize on this. Somebody's going to make billions off of...
Wow. Billions and billions.
Billions off of Baltimore land.
Well, I'm going to wish all of you and your wonderful families who I've spent Thanksgiving with on other times a happy and wonderful Thanksgiving. I will miss being around my friends. We've got December. And let me tell you, fans of the New Way out there, even some people in this room don't know 100% the tricks I have up my sleeve. And
any more treats?
Oh yeah, Ben, there's going to be a few of those too. Don't you worry about it. But I've got some things in the works for December that I think are going to make for a very interesting listen on the New Way. So that's our Black Friday Cyber Monday tease. Don't worry, David Crespo. I will send you a telegram, a literal singing telegram, letting you know that there's a new episode of the New Way up.
And Greg Klein, I'm about to send my first dick pic.
Wait, if Greg promised to get us national publicity for this thing, would you send him and he could not show it to anyone else? It would be burnt. It would be like Snapchat style, gone forever. Would you send Greg Klein a dick pic?
Have I ever been shy about showing anybody my fucking dick?
This is true. Okay.
Which just makes it the most surprising thing ever. I'm like, oh well, I guess I have to be in person to show my dick.
You're like that guy that's really good at parties, but then they get on camera and they get stage fright. No, I'm no good on screen. I'm just good out and about, walking the halls.
Yes, Greg, the dick pic is on its way.
Well, Greg, send us your dick pic. We'll send you some dick pics.
Along with a Betamax of WKRP in Cincinnati.
WKRP in Cincinnati is a great... Do you know who Howard Hessman is?
No.
He was he played Johnny Fever, the disc jockey. You guys don't know... the guy in... forget it. I give up. Well, I'm going to open next episode with the theme song to WKRP in Cincinnati.
Let's do it. I'll take shows no one's ever seen before for $500.
This was one of the biggest shows on TV. Fuck you. How dare you? How dare you? Avalon. It's more people know fucking WKRP in Cincinnati than Avalon.
Avalon was nominated for fucking 7 Academy Awards.
Do you know how many Emmys WKRP in Cincinnati won?
How many?
I don't know. And I'm not entirely sure they've won any, but I was going to go on a limb on that one. God damn it. All right, well, I'm not thankful for the internet tonight because someone's going to look up the real answer on this.
It wins the most obscure reference of the episode.
There we go. God, man, we had Avalon Land, too.
Happy 50th, guys.
Happy 50th, gentlemen. I can't, this is to the next 50. Let's do it.
To the next
Cheers.
50.
Salute. And we'll talk to you guys soon.
Cheers.
Peace.
Cheers.
Out of here.